Top 10 mysterious deaths the government still can't explain. Some deaths leave behind trails of evidence. Others leave only questions. But then, there are those deaths that defy logic, challenge official narratives, and remain cloaked in secrecy even decades later. These aren't urban legends or wild theories. These are real people, real bodies, and real cases, some involving spies, scientists, journalists, and politicians, where the official explanation doesn't add up, even with access to intelligence, forensic analysis, and state-level resources. Governments have failed or refused to provide clear answers. And that silence only deepens the mystery. Throughout history, some deaths have stood out not just for their tragedy, but for their baffling circumstances. In many of these cases, suspicions of foul play, government cover-ups, or political motives loom large. From intelligence agents found in impossible scenarios to scientists who vanished after working on classified programs, these stories blur the lines between reality and conspiracy, whether due to classified information, international politics, or internal corruption. These deaths remain unresolved. And the longer the silence persists, the more the world starts to ask, what is really being hidden? In this video, we explore the top 10 mysterious deaths the government still can't explain. These are not myths. These are real stories that continue to haunt investigators, families, and the public imagination. Number 10. Gareth Williams The Spy in the Bag. In 2010, Gareth Williams, a British MI6 codebreaker, was found dead inside a locked duffel bag in the bathtub of his government-issued London apartment. The bag was padlocked from the outside, and there were no fingerprints, no DNA, and no signs of forced entry. Investigators initially suggested it was an accident during a bizarre personal experiment. But experts concluded that it was nearly impossible to lock oneself inside the bag without assistance. Gareth had worked on counterterrorism and cyber espionage, including operations involving Russia. Despite public inquiries, the official verdict stopped short of declaring murder, and the mystery remains unsolved. Number 9. Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam's death at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles gained massive public attention in 2013. The Canadian college student was found dead in the hotel's rooftop water tank weeks after she went missing. Surveillance footage showed her acting erratically in the hotel elevator, pressing buttons, hiding, and seemingly speaking to someone who wasn't there. The roof was supposedly locked, and reaching the water tank would have required navigating several barriers. The autopsy ruled it an accidental drowning with bipolar disorder as a contributing factor, but many believe the case was mishandled. Theories range from foul play to psychological breakdown to something even more sinister. Number 8. Dr. David Kelly. David Kelly was a British weapons expert involved in the investigation of Iraq's alleged weapons of mass destruction. In 2003, after he was outed as the source of leaks challenging the government's justification for war, he was found dead in a wooded area near his home. The official cause: suicide by cutting his wrist. But multiple medical professionals contested that explanation, saying the wound was unlikely to be fatal and that there was a lack of blood at the scene. Government officials blocked a full inquest into his death, leading to ongoing speculation that Kelly was silenced to protect political interests. Number 7. John Wheeler III. A former Pentagon official and cyber warfare expert. John Wheeler's body was found in a landfill in Delaware in 2010. Security footage showed him wandering through various buildings in a disoriented state shortly before his death. Despite having access to sensitive defense information and nuclear protocols, the investigation was shockingly thin. The cause of death was ruled blunt force trauma, and authorities claimed he had climbed into a dumpster, which was later emptied into a landfill. How he got there, why he was targeted, and what happened in his final hours remains a mystery. Some believe he was involved in high-level disputes that made him a target. Number 6. Alexander Parapilikny. Alexander Parapilikny was a Russian businessman who became a whistleblower, helping expose a massive $230 million money laundering operation tied to Russian officials. In 2012, he collapsed and died while jogging near his home in the UK. Initially believed to be a heart attack, further investigation raised suspicions of poisoning with a rare plant toxin called gelsemium, commonly used in assassinations. UK authorities resisted a full investigation. Despite his ties to major international scandals and intelligence services, his death was dismissed as natural causes, though experts continue to question that verdict. Number 5. Dag Hammershold. Dag Hammershold, the Secretary General of the United Nations, died in a plane crash in 1961 while on a peace mission to the Congo. The official narrative was pilot error, But years later, declassified documents and eyewitness testimony suggested the plane may have been shot down. Witnesses reported a second aircraft in the sky and heard explosions before the crash. Investigations by the UN have repeatedly failed to provide conclusive answers, and many suspect Western intelligence agencies or corporate interests involved in Congo's mineral wealth may have played a role, more than 60 years later. His death remains a deeply contested mystery. Number 4. Frank Olsen. Frank Olsen was a CIA biochemist who fell from a New York hotel window in 1953. The government claimed it was suicide. Decades later, it was revealed that Olsen had been unknowingly dosed with LSD by the CIA as part of the MKUltra mind control experiments. Before his death, Olsen had grown increasingly disturbed by the nature of his work, including biological warfare and interrogation techniques. His family believes he was murdered because he was going to blow the whistle. A second autopsy conducted in the 1990s found injuries consistent with a blow to the head before the fall, raising serious doubts about the suicide theory. Number 3. Seth Rich. Seth Rich was a 27-year-old staffer for the Democratic National Committee who was shot and killed in Washington, D.C. in 2016. Officially ruled a botched robbery, the case drew national attention when rumors circulated that Rich had leaked internal DNC emails to WikiLeaks. While no evidence ever confirmed this theory, the lack of witnesses, the absence of stolen belongings, and the FBI's unusual involvement in a local murder case led many to question whether there was more to the story. Despite public appeals and private investigations, his murder remains unsolved and continues to stir debate in political and intelligence circles. Number 2. Baranton Weissant. Federal prosecutor Baranton Weissant was investigating visa and passport fraud when his body was found on a beach in Florida in 2017. He died from a gunshot wound to the head, yet no gun was ever found at the scene. The case attracted attention due to his active role in federal investigations at the time, including ties to high-level political cases. Local police labeled the death a suicide, but friends and family strongly disputed that claim. To this day, no solid motive, suspect, or explanation has emerged, and the circumstances remain deeply troubling. Number 1. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe's sudden death in 1962 was officially ruled a suicide by overdose. But the inconsistencies in her case, missing phone records, conflicting witness statements, and unexplained bruises have fueled decades of suspicion. Monroe had close personal ties to both John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy, which some believe made her a liability. Former intelligence officers have alleged that Monroe's home was under surveillance and that she had threatened to go public with secrets. Multiple unofficial investigations suggest the possibility of a staged overdose. Yet the government has never reopened the case. The truth behind her death remains buried under layers of conflicting evidence and classified information. When powerful people die under mysterious circumstances, the world takes notice. But when governments remain silent, offer flimsy explanations, or block investigations, suspicion only grows stronger. These cases, spanning decades and continents, all have one thing in common. They leave behind more questions than answers. Each of these deaths represents a life cut short, a family left without closure, and a public still waiting for the truth. Whether due to political interests, national security, or simple incompetence, these mysteries remain unsolved and may never be fully explained. If you found this video insightful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. There's always more beneath the surface, and we'll be here to dig into the stories others are too afraid to tell.